Guys, welcome back to the hangar. A new project has started, the annual inspection of a DC-6. We are on an ops check 2 we call. Normally we are on a 6-year interval. So this year we had our focus on the left-hand wing. So it's a detailed inspection of the left-hand wing. We have to defuel the aircraft, do an internal inspection of the fuel tanks, and then a lot of more stuff.
The sequence for starting maintenance is always the same. Cowling removal, inspection of the engine wash, and then the incoming ground run. Before the ground run, we inspect the engines for fuel leaks. As we have already mentioned, slight fuel leaks take longer to recognize than the oil leaks. A slight fuel leak is indicated by a blue-green stain. We call this a fuel stain. We inspect areas of the engine where the fuel is present, such as the fuel lines, carburetor and the intake pipes. Removing the cowling looks easier than it really is, but it's quite tricky. The secret lies in the positioning of the ladder and a special technique that you will get over time. For removing the power section cowling, we must close the cow flaps and be sure that the drip tray are removed from the oil cooler intake. The power section cowling consists of 3 parts, which also known as the egg. You only need 2 tools for removing the egg: 5/8 wrench and a flat screwdriver. The accessory consists of 5 parts. 2 of these are the exhaust chutes, which diverted the exhaust gas over the outside of the engine nacelle. We also have a specially made cowling stand to make our life easier. Now it's time to wash the engines. Washing the engines is more complicated than it seems. To carry out a high quality inspection, it's important to wash the engines thoroughly. This applies especially to the critical areas, such as under the head baffles, pushrod housings and the connection hoses. We use a commercial available brake cleaner to wash the engines. We always work together as a team. Dominik and Xaver are dismantling the engines, Stefan is inspecting the engines, Martin washed the engines, and the same guys who dismantle it put the cowlings back on. This way we can work as efficient as possible. As we have to do this process once on each engine, we skip this through a time lapse.
After we have done the inspection for fuel leaks, we washed the engine, we reinstalled the cowlings, and then we have done the incoming ground run.
Cabin doors shut and lights.
If you missed the video of part 1, here is the link in the top right hand corner. Hangar doors open. Time to move the DC-6 into his final position for maintenance. Everything must be cleared out because the DC-6 is going to be parked at the very back for at least the next 2 months. As you can see, our Lightning P38 is nearly done with the annual inspection. Here we see our engine stands, which are also tailor-made. We have to thread these in at the same time as the DC-6. We try to position the aircraft in a way that as many aircrafts as possible can fit into the Hangar 8. You can see that on the number 3 spinner it's getting very close to our fishbowl glass. Once the DC-6 is in its final position, the engine stands get positioned to engines 1 and 2. These stands providing lighting, electrical and air connections, what comes in very handy. Once we are finished on the left hand side of the wing in a few weeks, we will move the stands over to number 3 and number 4 engine. Due to the specific design of Hangar 8 and the fact that our position changes slightly every year, we have to install fall protection. We install them above the wings and the horizontal stabilizer. It is removed again once the annual inspection is finished. We have installed several service hydrants in Hangar 8 to provide access for electrical, air and plugs for grounding the aircraft.
Now the DC-6 is in the perfect position to start the annual inspection. This year the Object 2 is due. That means we have to do a detailed inspection on the left hand wing. The first thing when the inspection starts is to remove the cowlings.
You have seen us removing the cowlings before, so let us skip that process.
After removing the cowlings, we do inspection for fuel leaks, because the fuel leaks take much longer to come out than the oil leaks.
Now it's time for a panel party. This means that we open and remove inspection and access panels as required. Our work packages are clearly describing which panels we have to open. As you can see, there are quite a lot of them. And here we go, we find our first fuel leak.
Okay, I got flow. We can go to high. Yeah.
Before we can open the tank on the left hand wing, we need to transfer the fuel from the left hand wing to the right hand wing.
Perfect. Okay. Pumps are off. Flow is out.
The DC-6 has no fuel cross transfer system. So we need an external hose to move fuel from the left hand wing to the right hand wing. We distribute fuel on the right hand wing to ensure better balance when we're checking the aircraft.
We're going down, yeah. Still flow, still flow. Okay, that's it for now.
Once the transfer of fuel is completed, any remaining fuel is poured into a special anti-static container. When the fuel is drained, we can start to open the fuel tank panels. That is the access panel for the number 2 main fuel tank. The big red bar you can see here is the fuel dump chute. A dump valve in each tank and 4 receptacle dump chutes, one in the aft underside of each nacelle, permit fuel jettison in order to decrease the cross weight in case of emergency. The area is ventilated to remove the fuel fumes. One of the first steps is also check up the aircraft to give more stability. The checks can be operated by hand or with compressed air.
Wir müssen ein bisschen zu dir.
Yep.
Ja.
When checking the aircraft, it is essential to check together and maintain balance. Here too, it's important to work as a team. Things are always very busy and seem a little bit hectic at the beginning of maintenance, but we always follow the instructions in the work package. This year the work package consists of 95 task cards, categorized in access, inspection, testing, servicing and lubrication cards. The inspection cards are then used to generate the findings, which we deal with after the inspection phase. Only licensed mechanics are permitted to carry out inspections. Here we see the cowl flaps, which regulate the amount of air for the engine cooling. All cowl flaps are driven by one electric motor via flex drives and a transmission actuator. Before we removing them, we check in them for position, warm parts and general condition. Panel party is still on. At the beginning of maintenance, almost the entire team is involved in the panel party. Before we can inspect the fuel tanks internally, they must be ventilated for several days. We use a special ventilation system for this purpose. The system consists of many individual parts, such as hoses, branches and distributors. This has the advantage that we remain very flexible. Work safety is a top priority for us. When working on the wing, we wear safety vests and attach ourselves to the fall protection systems that were mounted on the roof frame at the start of the maintenance.
Jetzt wir brauchen Schläuche.
Our DC-6 is equipped with an 8-tank fuel system with a capacity around 15 tons, which corresponds to approximately 33,000 pounds. There are 4 main and 4 alternate tanks. We mount the ventilation system on the fuel neck and connect it together and route one line to the outside.
One thing what we need to do on the radial engines, or actually on every aircraft piston engine, you have to check the Magneto and distributor timing belong which type they have. This is a low tension which has a big Magneto, 2 distributors, and coils up here, but timing wise the R2 has to be the timing set for 20 degrees before top dead center on number 1 cylinder, and this is what we are going to check now. We put the time writer in the number 1 cylinder, find out top dead center, and then coming down to the 20 degrees, and then the light on the box should start illuminate. Then we know actually the breaker points opens and they are set right. If not, we have to take the distributors out, reset them, try it again till it's perfect. But luckily this time they are good. So they got a visual inspection. If there are no points are burned, no oil inside, no wires broken around, no loose screws, and then we can put it back and you should be good for the next 100 hours again. I set the Magneto in the cockpit to both. So the first thing we're going to do, we go a little bit backwards, you put your finger inside. Just go backwards first because definitely we went over it. And soon I'm coming up. You tell me when we are in compression.
Yep.
Yeah. Do this one. Turn it till it's moving. You go back. First one.
Yep.
We're already 27. So next thing, we'll connect the box. Hope it stays. 40-inch bounce. We keep the pressure on. Ready? Yeah, I count it down. 26. 3. 20. Left one. Okay, 20, perfect. Just a little bit further. 19.5. I would call that. Stop that noise. So the distributors, they got a mark here for a quick check to install it. If you have removed it, you put it to 20 degrees before, and it should line up here as well. Yep. Otherwise you could be 30 degrees out and you're doing another cylinder. We check the Magneto. Should be good. Start coming down. Not moving yet, you can go. 20, you're fully in?
Fully in.
Yeah. Okay, fully in. So this one is set correctly as well. Do a quick check without the torque, that's okay? Mine is already out. Left one first at 20. And both they are 19.5. As a double check, you keep continuing, see if the zero is still there. Just keep turning, you will see. That would be good enough. For the book, if we want to be perfect, we can do number 18 cylinder and the second breaker. Okay? Let's do it, just to be sure where we are. Just write the numbers down.
Left hand 98.
Alright.
So the left one was the first one.
That's true. Still there. So, just line it up and you keep turning and we'll set the zero on this one. Yeah, I'm happy. And back. Further. And then we're not far away till it starts counting. And it's as well the same. Around 20 we should line up on the second slot.
Yep.
With this one, okay?
That's good. Ready?
Ready. Start turning. Stops. 24. Okay, slowly now. Yeah, perfect.
Left. Right.
All in limit. bearing on top of the Magneto. We always on a new engine we make a mark because we had it once. Bearing got seized and then it starts turning and break it loose. This one looks like new. So all good so far. Happy with that actually. We could put the covers back on. Thank you guys. We just remove the tools, getting the plugs back in. And the same story on the other 3 engines in a couple of days.
Now it's time to start working on the engine using the service card. Most of the panel work is completed. Dominic starts with the spin-on filter. This was not originally installed, but was added later via an STC. During the removal, we collect the oil in buckets, so that we can be screened later for chips or contaminations. Once the filters has been removed, temporary plugs are installed on the filter adapter. The filter adapter has a chip detector, which activates a lamp in the cockpit if an iron-containing chip covers the sensor. The filters are installed in the oil return line from the engine to the oil tank. We cut them open so that they can be more easily washed out and so that every chip can be caught. We need special tools again to cut it open. The filters contain resin-impregnated micronic filter media traps and an internal bypass valve in a case of a filter becomes blocked. It's very important to catch every drip of oil that got collected inside of the filter. After cutting open both filters of engine number 2, the results getting examined by the board engineer. Slightly carbon buildup in the filters is normal. After inspection, various details are added to the screens before they're getting stored. This includes information as engine number, running time and date. But of course, we always send out a oil sample for deeper analytic.
We are almost halfway through the inspection, so it's time to wrap up part 2 of the series. For part 3 of the series, we will focus on the right hand side of the wing. We will have to check the DC-6 all the way up, as we had some findings on the right hand main landing gear, which will take some extra attention. But more on that in part 3. Thanks for watching. Bye for now.